From popular comic book characters to famous action movie heroes, Mortal Kombat games have some pretty interesting guest characters, but oddly enough, none of these new fighters have been from other fighting games. Trust me, I double checked to be sure. In other fighting games like Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, and especially Tekken, there's almost always a guest from another fighting game. But this hasn't happened with Mortal Kombat yet, which I think is a missed opportunity. So today, I'm going to list characters from other fighting games that I think would fit perfectly on a Mortal Kombat roster. But as you all know, I love making these videos interactive, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. Which characters do you think would fit perfectly in Mortal Kombat? Grab that keyboard to make your voices heard, and without any further ado, let's begin after a quick word from today's sponsor. Do you love Meat Canyon? Well, guess what? He just got his own waifu cup with Gamer Subs. That's right, it launched today, but they sell out really fast, so if you want to get one for yourself, then make sure to use code UNDERDOG to get an awesome discount. But on top of that, you also get free shipping on any order over $40. Once again, just make sure to use code UNDERDOG for an awesome discount and free shipping. Gamer Subs is a tasty energy powder with no sugar, and it's keto friendly too. Awesome creator cups, great flavors, a discount, and free shipping. There's never been a better time to try Gamer Subs. Alright, and back to the video. Fighting game characters that would be a perfect guest in a Mortal Kombat game. First up, let's talk about Fulgore from Killer Instinct, because this character is a perfect fit for several different reasons. For starters, he's a killer cyborg, which makes him perfect. He's a Lin Kuei. Come on, he's a cyber Lin Kuei, pretty much. He's a murderous killing machine that used to be human. So already that makes him a great fit for Mortal Kombat, but on top of that, don't forget how graphic the Killer Instinct games are, especially in the past. I don't think people realize how violent fighting games were in the past. In fact, if anything, they were more violent back in the day. I mean, just look at these game over screens in Street Fighter 2. Your opponent did not just lose the fight, their face is bruised, swollen, they're bleeding, Chun-Li is crying she got beat up so bad. Yeah, older fighting games were just more graphic. Even Tekken back in the day felt more violent because the hit sparks looked like blood splatters. Like, no, they actually did look more like blood. And it's no different with Killer Instinct. Yeah, the graphics are kind of outdated by today's standards, but even so, just look at all that blood, and these characters had finishing moves. That's right, you could end the match by killing your opponent, just like Mortal Kombat. In fact, every character had more than one finisher, and in later games, you could knock them off the stage and kill the opponent that way too. So just like Mortal Kombat, you could kill your opponent at the end of the match. And even though these finishers aren't as graphic as the Mortal Kombat fatalities, you get what I'm trying to say, right? These characters in Killer Instinct were murder machines, just like the Mortal Kombat characters, which is just one more reason why a Killer Instinct character would fit perfectly in Mortal Kombat. But I chose Fulgore for a specific reason. To be fit for a Mortal Kombat game, it's not just about murdering your opponent, but also getting murdered yourself in a very graphic and horrific manner, and I don't think the owners of Killer Instinct want to see Jago or Orchid get brutalized like that. But when it comes to Fulgore, who really cares? He's a robot, and nobody cares when a robot gets murdered. Well, technically he's a cyborg, but you get what I'm saying. He's a murder machine, and it's not that hard to watch him get cut to bits. And that's why I really do think that Fulgore would be the perfect fighting game guest character in a Mortal Kombat game. He's violent, he can do fatalities, and you can do fatalities on him. And even though I do think any Killer Instinct character could be a good fit for Mortal Kombat, it's probably better to go with a monster character or a robot. So if the developers don't want to add Fulgore, they could still consider Spinal or Glacius, even Cinder, right? Characters that aren't exactly a regular human getting torn to bits. Okay, next up it's time for character number 2, and I'm kind of cheating on this one, but I think it's fair because he's been in multiple fighting games, and his name is Ryu Hayabusa. That's right, this man debuted in his own game series, Ninja Gaiden, but even so, he's been in many other fighting games, so I think it's okay to consider him a fighting game character himself. And just like every other character on this list, Ryu Hayabusa has no hangups about killing and murdering everyone who gets in his way. This man is very, very violent, which of course makes him a great fit for Mortal Kombat, but on top of that, he also dies violently in his own video games. He gets impaled, sometimes dismembered, I don't think ever beheaded, but the point is he can get murdered pretty bad. And that's very important for any character that wants to be added to Mortal Kombat. You can't just dish out the pain, you gotta be able to take it. So the fact that Ryu Hayabusa is no stranger to getting killed in violent and creative ways, he'd be a great fit for Mortal Kombat. But on top of that, he's also a ninja. And come on, Mortal Kombat is the ninja fighting game. Almost every fan favorite character in the series began as a palette swap of the original ninjas, Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Scorpion. Those two were the original, but then you got Reptile, you got Ermac, you got Rain, Tremor, the list goes on. They were all ninjas, but just different colors. And now finally, with Ryu Hayabusa, we have the Black Ninja. Technically, Noob Saibot was first, so I guess now we have two Black Ninjas, but you get what I mean. Adding a ninja character to Mortal Kombat just makes perfect sense, so Ryu Hayabusa is a great fit on the roster. He kills people violently, he's died violently, and he's also a ninja. What better fit could you ask for? Alright, it's time for character number 3, Tam Tam from the Samurai Showdown series. Yeah, this fighting game is a bit niche. A lot of you watching likely have never played a Samurai Showdown game, which is a shame because they're very, very fun. There's not very many flashy combos, but there is tons of strategy involved and also a lot of blood and gore. That's right, very similar to Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat. Back in the day, Samurai Showdown was the violent fighting game. Characters used weapons and drew blood and cut the opponent up. There wasn't any fatalities or crazy finishers like that, but even so, you were still cutting the opponent up pretty badly. And actually, now that I think about it, some characters did actually kill their opponent when you won the match. So yeah, some of these creatures are downright murderous. So with all that in mind, why am I picking Tam Tam specifically? Well, it's a similar reason to picking Fulgore in Killer Instinct. I don't think many people have an emotional attachment to Tam Tam because he's a crazy guy that wears a creepy mask. And as a result, there's no face to feel sorry for when he's getting torn and ripped to shreds. So I think he'd fit better than everybody else. And even though there are characters in Sam Show that are much creepier than him and more deserving of death, I don't think their character's body type would fit well in Mortal Kombat. For example, this creepy guy definitely deserves to die a very violent and gruesome death, but I don't think he would fit well in Mortal Kombat. He's just too big and massive. Or in other words, I think Tam Tam is the perfect fit because he's creepy, violent, but also not so human that you feel bad for murdering him. Nobody wants to watch this cute thing get torn apart. Well, some people do who hate fighting her, but that's not the point. She's too cute, do not murderize her. Okay, now finally, it's time for the last character on this list, Morrigan from the Darkstalkers series. That's right, baby, Darkstalkers is not dead. I truly do believe that, so what better way to revive one of the characters than to put them in Mortal Kombat? I know some people watching might consider this a weird fit, but once again, play the older games and notice that there are finishers that kill the opponent in Darkstalkers. The Darkstalkers games are much more violent than people remember. The game did not have fatalities or finish him screams to be sure, but even so, you could end the round in certain ways that did straight up kill the opponent. And as a result, I think these characters could fit well in Mortal Kombat, but I'm choosing Morrigan because, come on, she's the poster girl of the series. Pretty much everybody knows who this character is, even if they've never played a Darkstalkers game, and the reason why they know about her is not exactly wholesome, but my point is pretty much everybody knows who Morrigan is, even if they're not a fighting game fan. And if you're gonna add a guest character, you might as well pick the most famous character from that game. But before anybody feels bad for Morrigan, she is a mass murderer, just so you know. That's right, Morrigan is a succubus and she's not ashamed of that. She's murdered and consumed thousands of human souls, so she is not innocent at all. In fact, most characters in Darkstalkers are bad people, which actually is really interesting now that I think about it. Most fighting games have a majority of good characters and just some bad guys, but in Darkstalkers, I think more than half are bad guys. In fact, the only real good guy is the main character, who's also very unpopular for whatever reason. A lot of people don't know who this guy is. But I digress. The point is, you should not feel bad watching Morrigan get murdered in a Mortal Kombat game because she's a mass murderer herself. Which I know is funny because in the Marvel vs. Capcom video games, she's always fighting with the good guys, but trust me, she's anything but a good guy. Now, at the end of the day, is this ever going to happen? Will Capcom ever allow one of their characters to be in Mortal Kombat and get fatality'd? No, probably not. I'd say an 80% chance it's never going to happen, but even so, I still think Morrigan would be a great fit. But there you have it, everyone, every fighting game character that I think would fit perfectly in a Mortal Kombat game. Once again, I want to know which characters you think would fit well in a Mortal Kombat game, but just remember, the catch is they have to also be in another fighting game. I know today's video is a bit out of the ordinary, it's not typically what I post, but I still think it's a fun topic, and it's also Mortal Kombat related. Every now and then, it's fun to spice things up, so let me know in the comments section if you have any more ideas for future videos. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below, it helps the channel out a ton. And then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.